Today, we are gonna jazzercise. Just joking, I am gonna show you how to tailor clothes on your own body if you don't have a dress form. So to demonstrate this, I'm going to be tailoring up a shirt, adding princess lines on the front, the back, and taking it in on the side seams. So that way you'll learn how to use your body as a dress form, pinning and tailoring something on the front, the back, and the sides. You guys have been asking for this video for a long time, so let's do it. Let's tailor something on our own body. If you don't have a dress form, use yourself. It's for you. Real quick before we start, if you're enjoying Sewing Anastasia, make sure you like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel a lot. And if you want to learn even more about sewing, make sure you check out my online and in-person sewing classes along with the online sewing club. There's links down below for everything. Now, let's get back to tailoring on our own body. The first step to making this work out is putting on something that fits tight. A long leotard, a turtleneck, leggings, a tank top, anything that is tight and fitted, because we're gonna need to pin into a layer eventually to keep things balanced. You're always seeing me pin into the dress form. Well, now we are gonna pin into you, and we need something to pin into. And that something needs to hug tight to your bodacious curves. So right now I have on a leotard and some bike shorts. So let's get into it. Let's learn how to pin and tailor something on the front of our body. And if you're interested in adding princess line something to give it shape, make sure you check out my other video where I go over that in detail. So this is the oversized shirt that I'm going to be tailoring to myself. You're also gonna need a mirror. I've got a mirror set up right in front of my camera. You really got to be able to see everything you're doing to make sure the fabric isn't pulling too much or awkwardly. So a mirror is very important. And you're gonna need plenty of pins. I've got my pins on my wrist and my heart pin cushion. If you don't have a wrist pin cushion, well, I got a video on how to make one, so you can have one too. So the first thing we're gonna wanna do is pin center front to the bodysuit. Now I've got a mirror in front of me. I'm gonna be looking at the mirror a lot and not at you, so I can really see what I'm doing. So when I start, I'm going to pin through both layers of the shirt and the bodysuit underneath me. So that way everything is nice and secure to me. So you can see when I pull that, it's staying right there. So now I'm just gonna work my way down the center front of the shirt, securing it to my bodysuit underneath. And now I have the shirt secured to me. So if I pull it one way or the other, I can't pull it off balance. It is going to stay at the center front of me. So this is like pinning into the dress form, but we've pinned into ourselves, our bottom layer. Next, we're gonna work on pinning up the front and giving it some shape. So I'm going to work with my princess line, and we're going to add the princess line to the back later. And that can be a little tricky because we can't really see back there. So make sure you stay tuned so I can show you exactly how to get that perfect fit on your back while pinning it on yourself. So when you're working on a top and you're trying to fit the bust, you want to start with the bust, whether it's a dart or a princess line or style line you're adding. And today I am adding a princess line, and I know I want it to go through the bust. So I'm going to be starting from the bust, and then we're going to work around it. We're going to radiate from it, taking in everything else. Because let's say you started at the side seam and you pulled too much over. You started at the shoulder and it got all crooked, and then everything's not going to line up in the front. So if we start from the bust and work our way out, things are going to lay smoother. And the nice thing about pinning this on yourself is if the first pin you put in doesn't work out, you can always repin it. So I'm going to start with the fullest part of my bust here, and I'm going to pull up some of the fabric. So I generally want my princess line to be about right here on me, but I'm gonna watch my armhole, make sure I'm not pulling my whole armhole over to the front, because we wanna keep things balanced. So you could also put a pin right here because you've got a bodysuit on. Let's do that. Let's take the armhole of the shirt and let's pin it to our bodysuit so it doesn't move. So this is one way we can work with draping and pinning and tailoring on ourselves. So now I'm going to work down. I'm going to add some more pins. Sometimes I like to pin it maybe not as tight as I would like it, and then go back and adjust the pins to get that perfect fit. But if we can get the general placement for a line in here first, this will really help us out. So maybe one more pin in here. And now that I have this laying pretty flat, I'm going to work up to the top. So I've worked from the bust down, and now I'm gonna work from the bust up. So now I'm gonna take some of the fabric up here in the shoulder and make a nice smooth line to the point of the bust. So now you can see how we've taken in the fabric on the front of this, and it's laying nice and smooth, and we have everything looking proportional. Now, before I move on to taking in the sides, I'm going to add the same taken over here on the right. So this way we can really get a great idea of how we're tailoring it to the body, and it'll also help just keep everything nice and balanced. Now that I've pinned up the other side, we're going to move on to the side seams. When I'm starting at the side seam, I'm going to do the same thing I did at the front, where I started at a middle point and then worked up and worked down. So for the side seam, it's going to be my waist. Don't want it skin tight, so I'm just gonna pull some fabric over. Notice I'm kind of like brushing it over, keep it nice and smooth. And then we're going to pin here. And now that I have one spot roughly at the side seam, I can work up and work down, taking it in as much or as little as I would like. So now I'm going to work down and then I'll work up. And again, I'm just pinning the shirt together. I'm not pinning into my underlayer because this is not an anchor point. So we are shaping the fabric, but we don't need it pinned to our body because we want to keep this flowing away from our body. And since we have another piece of fabric in the back, I'm also making sure that it's staying smooth. So if I hold my arm out, you can see how nice and smooth these pins look in here. There's no extra wrinkles. So now that I have it taken in the bottom, I'm going to work up to my armhole. And this shirt is pretty big on me. So I'm going to be taking in quite a bit over here. So I've got some of that side seam, and with this technique, taking in something on the side, you can come up into the armhole to raise the armhole. You guys probably have seen that in some of my other videos. So I can just keep pinning until I want the side seam to end. So I'm actually going to add one more pin in here because my arm is way up here. This is still my side seam. And this is a tricky little pin here. So just do it the best you can. When we take it off, we can always smooth it out. So just get that pin in there so we know roughly how much there we need to take it in. So now you can see where I've pinned up into the armhole here. So you can really see how it's taking shape on the side. Now I'm gonna do the exact same thing to the other side. Now I've got the other side pinned up and we're gonna move on to the back. So for this whole process, you are not going to see my front, just my back. Pretty funny, huh? So for this process, we need to find our back in the center. And if you're trying to twist around into a mirror, everything's gonna get all funky. So you kind of have to do this step blind. So find the center, maybe the small of your back, and we're going to pin the shirt to our underlayer here. And if you can't find the center and you feel like it's pulling over, I want you to take it off, iron it in half, or mark the very center of the shirt. So that way you have something to feel. So I'm going to be feeling this shirt. I know right where the center is, and I'm going to put a pin there. So that way now it's not going to move to the right or to the left too much. I'm not going to pull it too much. It is center. So since I already have the side seam here taken in, we're going to be figuring out where we need that princess line and how much we need to take in. Now we can always rebalance this later, but I want you to get a rough idea for how much you need to take this in. So we're going to pin this the best you can. I know this part is really tricky. So you are just going to be feeling the fabric. You're gonna make sure it's staying nice and smooth. Work down as far as you can. Again, I started at the center of the waist and I worked down. And now I'm going to start at the center here and work up. And I know this can be hard. And if you're really having troubles with this, get a friend over, have them help you. And right now, don't worry about if this is looking perfect or not. We can fix it in a minute. We just need to get some pins in there to bunch up some of the fabric. And so up here at the shoulder, I can't really reach back here too much more. So I'm just going to leave it how it is right now. So for the back, we're just gonna pin up one side. It's already awkward enough as it is. And then I'll show you how to do the other side next. I have my shirt on the table. It's time to take care of this back. As you can see, our pins are a little crooked. We are going to draw with chalk or some sort of marking tool where the pins are front and back, so that way we can remove them. We want to be able to rebalance this and draw a nice new dart and repin it. So now that everything's marked, we will unpin. And we can see right where I had the pins. So you can see these marks here that I made, and now we need to straighten them out so that way we can have a nice line going through our shirt. So when I pinned this earlier, this right here was where my waist was, the biggest part where I was taking it in, and then we're gonna come up and we're going to go down. Now I want to rebalance this, and since this was the middle, I'm going to be drawing a straight line on the back of my shirt that we can use to rebalance this. And you're gonna notice when I draw this line, these marks are not even on both sides of the line. So we need to just rebalance this so that way it's laying nice and symmetrical on our back. And the way we're gonna do this is we're going to measure in between those marks that I marked. So if this one here is a 1/2 inch, that means I need to add 1/4 of an inch on each side of the line to rebalance it. So we've taken this distance that I had pinned and we're just moving it over. So we need to rebalance it because when I pinned it, because it was really hard to see on my back because I couldn't, I kind of pinned it a little like this. So what we need to do is straighten it out, repin it, and then retry it on. So we're taking in the same amount of fabric, just in a different position. So I'm gonna do this all the way up and down here in the back until I get to the top. I'm just gonna rebalance everything. Now that we have all those lines set, it's time to transfer them to the other side. The easiest way to get these marks over here on this side is to fold your shirt in half, right down center back. You could iron it if you need to find it. And then we're going to put a pin in all of those marks that we need to transfer to the other side. Now that these are pinned, we're gonna flip over the shirt. Now you can see where the pins are, and we're going to mark where all of these pins are. And then we'll have the same marks as we do on the other side. Now I've transferred the marks to the other side, and I have the same sewing lines on both sides. So now I can finish pinning up to that shoulder point. So I pinned up the dart here. What I need to do is connect this intake in the back with that intake that I was creating here in the shoulder. So what we can do is take these two marks because we want to keep it nice and smooth and give the fabric like a little pull, and it's going to drape and fold naturally. And then you can put some pins in it. And remember, you can always adjust this. You just need to have something to be able to go off of for when we try it back on. So now I have this pinned all the way up the back, up through the shoulder, and back around and down to the front. So I did the same thing to the other side. So exciting, we have the back all pinned up, and it wasn't as hard as you thought, was it? So let's try it on and see how it looks. So now, as you can see, we have it all pinned up the back. And now is a time where you could assess the back, see if you want to take it in more or less, see how it's fitting from the front. Is anything pulling? Is it laying smooth? How you want it to. Now I know it can be really hard to see what's really going on in the back. So the best thing to do is take a picture of yourself with a mirror. As you can see, it's looking great on the front too. So now we are done. We have everything pinned up right where we want it, and those are our new sewing lines. And it's fitting us great with the pins, so we know it's going to fit us great when we sew it up as well. So hopefully now, after this tutorial, you'll feel more confident pinning on your own body in the mirror. So maybe next time I'm doing a tutorial on upcycling or draping or a pattern adjustment, and it's on a dress form, you'll know that you can do it on yourself now that you have these tips. And don't forget, I have a tutorial on putting in princess lines in a shirt step by step in detail. So if you want more information on that full process, just make sure you check out the video on it. There'll be a link down below in the description. Thank you so much for watching Sewing Anastasia today. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you know when all the new tutorials come out. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for watching today. These videos are for you guys. And if you want to learn more about sewing, make sure you check out my online and in-person sewing classes along with the online sewing club, where you get a new pattern along with lessons every single month. And there's even a sewing Discord. So fun. And if you want to know what's going on in the studio right now, well, make sure you check out my Instagram stories. There's links for everything down below in the description. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.